First contact. The alien sun cast an eerie purple glow across the horizon as Dr. Eliza Chen surveyed the desolate landscape before her. Jagged rock formations pierced the sky like the teeth of some cosmic beast, while swirling mists of an unknown composition danced between them. Eliza checked the readings on her suit's display once more. Oxygen levels nominal, radiation within acceptable parameters. She took a deep breath, tasting the filtered air, and stepped out of her landing pod. Exoplanet LV-426 had been her home for the past 3 months. As the lone researcher on this distant world, Eliza's mission was simple: catalog new life forms and assess the planet's potential for future colonization. So far, she had discovered an array of microbial life forms and some hardy vegetation, but nothing that could be classified as complex fauna. That was about to change. The low, mournful cry echoed across the rocky plain, causing Eliza to freeze in her tracks. She activated her suit's advanced audio sensors, trying to pinpoint the source of the sound. There it was again, a pained wail that sent shivers down her spine. Without hesitation, Eliza set off in the direction of the noise, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. As she navigated the treacherous terrain, Eliza's mind raced with possibilities. Could this be the breakthrough she had been waiting for? The sound grew louder, guiding her to a narrow ravine hidden between 2 towering rock formations. Eliza activated her suit's floodlights and peered into the darkness below. What she saw took her breath away. Huddled at the bottom of the ravine was a creature unlike anything Eliza had ever encountered. It was massive, easily the size of an earth grizzly bear, but its form was distinctly alien. Its body was covered in iridescent scales that shimmered with an inner light, pulsing softly in rhythm with its labored breathing. 6 limbs, each tipped with wickedly sharp claws, sprawled awkwardly around its bulbous body. But it was the creature's eyes that captivated Eliza, 3 glowing orbs that fixed upon her with an unmistakable intelligence. The alien bear-like creature let out another pained cry, and Eliza noticed the cause of its distress. A jagged piece of the planet's crystalline rock had impaled one of its limbs, pinning it to the ground. Dark, phosphorescent blood oozed from the wound, pooling beneath the trapped appendage. Eliza's training kicked in, overriding her initial awe. She quickly assessed the situation, noting the creature's swollen abdomen. Pregnant, she muttered to herself, the realization adding urgency to her actions. With careful movements, Eliza made her way down the ravine's steep walls, approaching the injured alien slowly. "Easy there, big fella," she said softly, knowing the creature couldn't understand her words, but hoping her tone would convey her intentions. "I'm here to help." The alien's eyes tracked her every move, but it made no attempt to flee or attack. Whether from pain, exhaustion, or some innate understanding, it seemed to sense that Eliza meant no harm. As she drew closer, Eliza could see the complexity of the creature's biology. Patterns of bioluminescence rippled across its scales, and she could hear a faint humming emanating from its body. With steady hands, Eliza began to examine the wound. The crystalline shard had pierced deeply, but it hadn't hit any vital organs from what she could tell. Removing it would be tricky, and she'd need to act fast to prevent further blood loss. Eliza reached for her medkit, grateful for the xenobiology training that had prepared her for such encounters. "This is going to hurt," she warned, meeting the alien's gaze. "But I promise, I'll do my best to make it quick." As Eliza worked to free the creature, she couldn't help but marvel at the situation. Here she was, millions of light years from Earth, tending to an injured alien life form. It was the stuff of science fiction, yet it was her reality. The enormity of the moment wasn't lost on her. This interaction could shape the future of human-alien relations. With a final, careful tug, Eliza extracted the crystal shard. The alien let out a roar that shook the ravine walls, but it didn't lash out. Instead, it seemed to slump with relief, its breathing becoming more regular. Eliza quickly applied a universal coagulant to the wound, watching in fascination as it interacted with the alien's unique biology. "There you go," Eliza soothed, running a gloved hand along the creature's flank. "You're going to be okay." As if in response, the alien's bioluminescent patterns shifted, creating a mesmerizing display of colors. Eliza's scientific mind raced with questions. Was this a form of communication, a stress response, or something else entirely? The creature attempted to rise, but its injured limb gave way. Eliza instinctively moved to support it, finding herself pressed against its massive form. The alien's body radiated an intense heat, and Eliza could feel a deep thrumming vibration through her suit. For a moment, they stood there, human and alien, connected in a way that defied explanation. Eliza knew she couldn't leave the creature here. Its injury, while no longer life-threatening, would make it vulnerable to whatever predators might lurk in this alien world. And with its pregnancy advancing, it would need a safe place to give birth and rear its young. The decision was made in an instant. "Looks like you're coming with me, big guy," Eliza said, patting the alien's side. "Hope you don't mind sharing my pod for a while." As if understanding, the creature let out a low, almost purring sound. Eliza couldn't help but smile behind her helmet. This was why she had become a xenobiologist. For moments like these, where the unknown became known, where the gap between worlds could be bridged by compassion and curiosity. With careful maneuvering and no small amount of effort, Eliza managed to guide the alien out of the ravine. The journey back to her landing pod was slow and arduous, but the creature seemed to trust her implicitly, following her lead without hesitation. As they approached the sleek structure that had been Eliza's home these past months, she couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the situation. "Well," she said, keying in the access code, "welcome to your new temporary home. It's a bit cozy, but it'll do." As the pod's door slid open, Eliza felt a surge of excitement. She had come to this planet hoping to make groundbreaking discoveries, but she never imagined anything like this. As she helped the alien inside, Eliza knew that her life, and possibly the course of human history, had just changed forever. The door sealed behind them, and Eliza removed her helmet, taking her first unfiltered breath in the presence of the alien. The air was thick with an otherworldly scent, a mixture of ozone and something undefinably alien. She looked into the creature's trio of eyes and saw her own wonder reflected back at her. "Let's get you settled in," Eliza said, her voice filled with determination and a hint of excitement. "We've got a long journey ahead of us, my friend." As night fell on LV 426, the purple sun dipping below the jagged horizon, Eliza Chen began the most extraordinary chapter of her life. In her small pod, human and alien embarked on an adventure that would test the limits of understanding, compassion, and the very definition of life itself. The long winter days stretched into weeks as Eliza Chen adapted to life with her unexpected alien guest. She had named the creature Aurora, inspired by the ever-shifting bioluminescent patterns that danced across its scales. The name seemed fitting for a being that had brought such vibrant life to her solitary existence on LV 426. Eliza's pod, designed for a single occupant, now felt cramped with Aurora's massive form taking up much of the living space. But the xenobiologist didn't mind. Every day brought new discoveries and deepened the bond between human and alien. "All right, Aurora," Eliza said one morning, approaching the creature with a scanner in hand. "Let's check on those little ones, shall we?" Aurora's three eyes blinked in sequence, a behavior Eliza had come to recognize as a sign of trust. The alien remained still as Eliza ran the scanner over its swollen abdomen. The readout confirmed what Eliza had suspected. Aurora was carrying not one, but 3 developing offspring. Triplets, Eliza breathed, a mix of excitement and concern in her voice. "No wonder you're getting so big, girl." As if in response, Aurora's scales rippled with a wave of soft blue light. Eliza had been meticulously documenting these color changes, trying to decipher their meaning. She was convinced they were a form of communication, but the complexities of Aurora's bioluminescent language still eluded her. The planet's harsh winter was setting in, bringing with it new challenges. Violent storms raged outside, battering the pod with winds that howled like tortured souls. The temperature dropped to levels that would flash freeze exposed flesh in seconds. Eliza found herself grateful for Aurora's presence, as the alien's body radiated a constant, comforting warmth. Food became a pressing concern. Eliza's supplies, meant to last 6 months, were depleting rapidly with an extra mouth to feed, especially one as large as Aurora's. The alien seemed to subsist primarily on a diet of the crystalline formations that dotted the planet's surface, but gathering enough to sustain her growing appetite meant venturing out into the deadly cold. Eliza suited up, checking her oxygen levels and activating her thermal regulators. "I'll be back soon," she told Aurora, who watched her with what Eliza swore was concern in those alien eyes. Outside, the world was a monochrome nightmare of swirling white. Eliza trudged through snowdrifts taller than she was, her suit's enhanced strength the only thing allowing her to move forward. She used a plasma cutter to harvest chunks of the glowing crystals, each one humming with an energy she still didn't fully understand. As she worked, Eliza's mind wandered to the greater implications of her discovery. Aurora's species was clearly intelligent, perhaps even sentient. The existence of such advanced alien life would reshape humanity's understanding of the cosmos. But with that exciting prospect came a gnawing worry. How would Earth react? Would they see beings like Aurora as potential allies, or as threats to be conquered? Lost in thought, Eliza almost missed the shadow that passed overhead. She looked up just in time to see a massive, winged shape disappear into the storm. Her heart raced. In all her time on LV 426, she had never encountered any large predators. Had the harsh winter driven them from their normal hunting grounds? Eliza quickened her pace, gathering as many crystals as she could carry before hurrying back to the pod. As the door sealed behind her, she let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Aurora greeted her with a series of low thrums, her scales pulsing with warm orange hues. Eliza smiled, dropping her helmet and shedding her outer suit layers. "Missed me, huh? You'll never believe what I saw out there." As Eliza recounted her experience, Aurora listened with what seemed like rapt attention. The aliens' reactions, subtle changes in color and posture, made Eliza feel as though they were having a real conversation, even if she couldn't fully understand Aurora's side of it. Weeks turned to months, and Eliza fell into a routine. Her days were filled with caring for Aurora, studying the aliens' biology, and venturing out for supplies. She sent regular reports back to Earth, but kept the full extent of her discovery secret. Something told her that Aurora needed protection, at least until Eliza could better understand her and her kind. The night Aurora went into labor, LV 426 was in the grip of the worst storm yet. The pod creaked and groaned under the assault of gale-force winds and hail-like shards of ice. Eliza was awakened by a keening wail unlike anything she had heard from Aurora before. "It's time," Eliza realized, jumping to her feet. She had prepared for this moment as best she could, but the reality of helping an alien creature give birth was daunting, to say the least. For hours, Eliza worked tirelessly, using all of her xenobiological knowledge and no small amount of intuition. Aurora's bioluminescence flared with each contraction, bathing the pod in a kaleidoscope of colors. Finally, with a sound that was part roar and part song, the first of Aurora's offspring emerged. Eliza gasped in wonder. The newborn was about the size of a human infant, its scales still soft and translucent. As she cleaned it, the little one opened its eyes, all 3 of them, and looked directly at Eliza. In that moment, she felt a connection that transcended species, a sense of being part of something greater than herself. 2 more births followed, each as miraculous as the first. By the time the storm outside had begun to subside, Aurora lay exhausted but content, her 3 cubs nestled against her. Eliza sat beside them, marveling at the new life she had helped bring into the universe. "Welcome to the world, little ones," she whispered, gently stroking each cub's head. They purred in response, their tiny bodies already beginning to glow with faint patterns of light. As Eliza watched the new family, a bittersweet realization settled over her. Her mission on LV-426 was nearing its end. In a few short weeks, a transport would arrive to take her back to Earth. The thought of leaving Aurora and her cubs behind filled her with an unexpected sorrow. But there was also hope. Eliza knew that what she had experienced, this connection with an alien species, could change everything. It was proof that humanity was not alone in the universe, and that bonds of compassion and understanding could bridge even the vast gulfs between worlds. As the first light of LV-426's purple sun broke through the dissipating storm clouds, Eliza made a silent promise. She would do everything in her power to protect Aurora and her kind, to ensure that when humanity did make official first contact, it would be with open minds and open hearts. Little did Eliza know that her resolve would soon be put to the test, as events beyond her control were already in motion. Events that would challenge everything she thought she knew about her mission, her alien companions, and the true nature of life in the cosmos. Unexpected visitors. The harsh winter of LV-426 was finally showing signs of relenting. As the planet's purple sun climbed higher in the sky each day, the pod's external sensors reported a gradual rise in temperature. Inside, Eliza Chen watched with fascination as Aurora's cubs grew at an astonishing rate. In just a few short weeks, they had nearly doubled in size, their once translucent scales hardening into a shimmering, iridescent armor. Eliza had named the cubs Nova, Pulsar, and Quasar, inspired by their brilliant bioluminescent displays. She spent hours observing their interactions, meticulously documenting their development and behavior. The bond between Aurora and her offspring was profound, communicated through intricate patterns of light and low-frequency vibrations that Eliza could feel but not hear. "You're full of surprises, aren't you?" Eliza mused aloud one day, as she watched Nova manipulate a small crystal with surprising dexterity. The cub's scales flashed in response, a pattern that Eliza had come to associate with curiosity. As her time on LV-426 drew to a close, Eliza found herself torn. Her mission had been an unparalleled success. The discovery of an intelligent alien species was beyond anything she or her superiors had dreamed possible. But the thought of leaving Aurora and her cubs behind filled her with dread. How could she ensure their safety once she was gone? Eliza was pondering this dilemma when a shrill alarm shattered the pod's tranquility. She rushed to the control panel, her heart racing. The proximity sensors were going haywire, detecting a massive object entering the planet's atmosphere. "That's impossible," Eliza muttered, double-checking the readings. The transport ship wasn't due for another 2 weeks, and nothing in her briefing had mentioned other missions to LV-426. Aurora sensed Eliza's distress, letting out a low, questioning rumble. The cubs huddled close to their mother, their scales pulsing with anxious flickers of light. "I don't know what's happening," Eliza admitted, trying to keep her voice calm for the alien's sake. "But I'm going to find out." Donning her exosuit, Eliza stepped out of the pod for the first time in days. The air was crisp but no longer lethal, a sign of the changing seasons. In the distance, descending through wispy clouds, she saw it, a ship unlike anything in Earth's fleet. Its hull gleamed with an otherworldly metal, its design both elegant and alien. Eliza's mind raced. First contact. But surely Earth would have informed her if they'd made contact with an alien civilization. Unless, a chilling thought struck her. What if these visitors weren't here for humanity at all? What if they were here for Aurora? The ship touched down less than a kilometer from Eliza's pod, kicking up a cloud of crystalline dust. As the engines powered down, a hatch on its side began to open. Eliza held her breath, her hand hovering over the emergency beacon on her suit. 3 figures emerged from the ship, each easily 7 feet tall. They were vaguely humanoid, with elongated limbs and heads that tapered to a point. Their bodies seemed to shimmer, as if they were only partially present in this reality. The aliens approached slowly, their movements fluid and graceful. Eliza stood her ground, heart pounding but determined to protect Aurora and the cubs at all costs. "I am Dr. Eliza Chen of Earth," she called out, her voice steady despite her fear. "I come in peace and seek peaceful communication." The aliens stopped a few meters away. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, to Eliza's shock, one of them spoke, in perfect, unaccented English. "We know who you are, Dr. Chen," the alien said, its voice carrying an odd musical quality. "We have been watching you for some time. My name is Zarthal, and we have much to discuss." Eliza's mind reeled. They had been watching her. For how long? And how did they know English? Before she could voice any of these questions, Zarthal continued. "The being you call Aurora is known to us as Illumina. Her kind are ancient and rare, guardians of cosmic knowledge. We have searched for this one for a very long time. Aurora came to me injured," Eliza said, a protective edge creeping into her voice. "I've cared for her, helped her give birth. Whatever your intentions, I won't let you harm her or her cubs." Zarthal's head tilted slightly, and gesture Eliza interpreted as curiosity. "Your compassion is admirable, Dr. Chen, but you do not understand the full scope of the situation. The Lumina are not merely animals. They are living repositories of universal wisdom. Aurora, as you called her, chose to come to this world for a reason." "What reason?" Eliza asked, her scientific curiosity warring with her protective instincts. "To make contact with your species," another of the aliens said. "The Lumina foresaw humanity's emergence as a galactic power. Aurora's mission was to assess your potential, to determine if humans were ready for the knowledge she carries." Eliza's mind spun with the implications. "Are you saying Aurora's injury, our meeting, it was all planned?" "Not planned," Zarthal corrected. "Foreseen as a possibility. The Lumina do not control the future, they merely perceive its myriad paths. Your actions, Dr. Chen, your compassion, your curiosity, your willingness to connect with a being so different from yourself, these were the test. And you have passed." A low rumble from behind made Eliza turn. Aurora stood in the pod's doorway, her cubs peering out from behind her massive form. The alien bear's scales rippled with complex patterns, and for the first time, Eliza felt she truly understood their meaning. Gratitude, affection, and a profound sense of purpose radiated from Aurora. "What happens now?" Eliza asked, looking back at Zarthal and his companions. "Now, Dr. Chen, you face a choice," Zarthal said. "You can return to Earth as planned, taking with you the knowledge of our existence, or you can come with us to learn the truths that Aurora and her kind safeguard. But know this, if you choose to come, you may never be able to return to your former life. The knowledge of the Lumina changes those who receive it irrevocably." Eliza stood silent for a long moment, weighing the enormity of the decision before her, everything she had ever known. Her career, her life on Earth, the very foundations of her understanding of the universe, hung in the balance. She looked at Aurora, at the cubs she had helped bring into the world. She thought of the connection they had forged, of the wonder she had already witnessed on this alien world. And in that moment, Eliza Chen made a choice that would alter the course of human history. "I'll come with you," she said, her voice firm with resolve. "Whatever truths Aurora holds, whatever knowledge awaits, I want to be part of it. For the sake of humanity's future, and for the bonds we forged here." Zarthal nodded, a gesture that seemed both alien and deeply familiar. "Then let us depart, Dr. Chen. The journey ahead is long, and the wonders that await are beyond your wildest imaginings." As Eliza prepared to leave the pod that had been her home for so many months, she felt a mix of trepidation and exhilaration. She was stepping into the unknown, leaving behind everything familiar. But as Aurora and her cubs fell into step beside her, heading towards the alien ship, Eliza knew in her heart that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The hatch of the alien vessel opened wide, spilling forth light that seemed to bend reality itself. Eliza took a deep breath, squared her shoulders, and with Aurora at her side, stepped forward into a new chapter of her life and of humanity's place in the cosmos. The journey beyond. The alien ship hummed with an energy that Eliza could feel in her bones as it broke free of LV-426 atmosphere. Through a shimmering view portal, she watched the purple world shrink until it was nothing more than a speck among countless stars. Aurora and her cubs huddled close, their bioluminescent patterns pulsing in what Eliza interpreted as a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "Your world is beautiful," Zarthal said, joining Eliza at the portal. "But it is merely one grain of sand on an infinite cosmic shore." Eliza nodded, her mind still struggling to process the magnitude of her decision. "Where exactly are we going?" she asked. "To the Nexus," Zarthal replied, his elongated features twisting into what might have been a smile. "It is difficult to explain in terms your current understanding can grasp. Think of it as a confluence of realities, a place where the knowledge of the universe converges." As they spoke, the ship suddenly lurched. The stars outside the portal stretched into lines of light, and Eliza felt a momentary sensation of her body being pulled in all directions at once. When the feeling subsided, the view outside had changed dramatically. They were no longer in normal space, but in some sort of swirling, colorful nebula that defied description. "Welcome to the slipstream," Zarthal announced. "Here, the conventional laws of physics as you know them do not apply. We can traverse vast distances in the blink of an eye." Eliza's scientific mind was in overdrive, trying to catalog and understand everything she was experiencing. She turned to Aurora, who was watching the swirling colors outside with what seemed like recognition. "You've been here before, haven't you?" Eliza asked softly, stroking Aurora's flank. The alien bear rumbled in response, her scales flickering with patterns that Eliza was beginning to recognize as affirmation. Over the next few days, if time could even be measured in such a place, Eliza immersed herself in learning. Zarthal and his companions, who called themselves the Archivists, began to teach her about the true nature of the universe. She learned that reality was far more complex and interconnected than humanity had ever imagined. The Lumina, like Aurora, were living conduits of this cosmic knowledge, capable of perceiving and navigating the intricate web of existence. But why choose humanity? Eliza asked during one of their sessions. "Surely there are other, more advanced civilizations out there." Zarthal's expression became serious. "The universe is vast, Dr. Chen, and filled with wonders. But it also faces threats, forces of entropy and chaos that seek to unravel the very fabric of existence. Humanity, for all its flaws, has a unique potential. Your species' creativity, adaptability, and capacity for growth make you invaluable in the coming struggles." Eliza felt the weight of this revelation settle on her shoulders. "And that's why Aurora came to LV-426, to prepare us." "In a manner of speaking," Zarthal confirmed. "The Lumina foresaw multiple paths for humanity's future. Some led to greatness, others to ruin. Aurora's task was to nudge your species towards a more positive outcome. Your interaction with her was a crucial junction point." As Eliza absorbed this information, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. The swirling colors of the slit stream outside the portal began to churn and darken. "We're under attack," one of the other archivists announced, their normally calm voice tinged with urgency. Zarthal moved swiftly to a control panel. "The Void Hunters," he hissed. "They found us." "Void Hunters?" Eliza asked, her heart racing as she instinctively moved to protect Aurora and her cubs. "They are the antithesis of what we stand for," Zarthal explained quickly. "Where we seek to preserve knowledge and foster growth, they desire only destruction and entropy. They hunt the Lumina, seeking to erase the cosmic wisdom they carry." The ship shuddered as something impacted its shields. Through the portal, Eliza caught glimpses of sleek, predatory shapes moving through the chaotic energies of the slipstream. "We cannot outrun them," the other archivist said. "Our only hope is to drop back into normal space and attempt to lose them in a planetary system." Zarthel nodded grimly. "Prepare for emergency transition. Dr. Chen, brace yourself. This will be unpleasant." Before Eliza could respond, the ship lurched violently. The swirling colors outside imploded, replaced by the cold darkness of normal space. A blue-green planet loomed large in the view portal, growing rapidly as their ship plummeted towards its surface. "Where are we?" Eliza gasped, struggling to maintain her footing as the ship bucked and shuddered. "Unknown," Zarthel replied, his long fingers dancing over the controls. "A random jump was our only option. We must land and seek shelter before the Void Hunters track us." As they entered the planet's atmosphere, Eliza saw flashes of weapons fire streak past the ship. The Void Hunters were in pursuit, their sleek vessels built for combat rather than exploration. With a bone-jarring impact, their ship crashed into a dense jungle. Eliza was thrown to the floor, her vision blurring. As she struggled to her feet, she saw that Aurora and her cubs were unharmed, their tough hide having protected them from the impact. "We must move quickly," Zarthel urged, helping Eliza up. "The ship's systems are failing. We have only moments before the Void Hunters are upon us." As they stumbled out of the damaged vessel, Eliza's mind raced. In the span of a few short weeks, she had gone from a solitary researcher on a distant planet to a fugitive on an unknown world, carrying knowledge that could shape the fate of the universe. The dense foliage of the alien jungle closed around them as they fled, the sounds of pursuit growing ever closer. Eliza realized that everything she had learned, everything she had become, was about to be put to the ultimate test. With Aurora at her side and the archivists leading the way, Eliza Chen plunged deeper into the unknown. The fate of humanity, of the Lumina, and perhaps of the entire cosmos now rested on their ability to outwit the relentless Void Hunters. As the sounds of their pursuers grew louder, Eliza steeled herself for the challenges ahead, knowing that the greatest adventure of her life, and the most crucial test of humanity's potential, was only just beginning. Humanity's stand. The alien jungle pulsed with life, its flora glowing with bioluminescence that reminded Eliza of Aurora's scales. They had been on the run for what felt like days, though time seemed to flow differently on this strange world. The Void Hunters were never far behind, their ominous presence a constant threat pushing the group forward. Eliza's scientific mind never stopped working, even in the face of danger. She observed the local flora and fauna, noting similarities and differences to what she had seen on LV-426 and Earth. This planet seemed to be a nexus of sorts, combining elements from various worlds in a way that defied conventional understanding of evolution and planetary development. "It's as if this entire planet is a living database," Eliza mused aloud as they paused to rest in a clearing. Zarthel nodded approvingly. "Your perception serves you well, Dr. Chen. This world is indeed special, a manifestation of the cosmic knowledge the Lumina protect. It's no coincidence that our random jump brought us here." Aurora rumbled in agreement, her cubs huddled close. The alien bear's bioluminescent patterns had become more complex since their arrival, pulsing with information that Eliza was slowly learning to decipher. A distant explosion shattered the moment of respite. The Void Hunters were getting closer. "We cannot run forever," the other archivist, who had introduced herself as Elia, said grimly. "We must make a stand." Eliza looked around at their ragtag group. 2 archivists, a human scientist, and a family of cosmic bear-like aliens. It hardly seemed like a match for the technologically advanced and ruthless Void Hunters. But then an idea struck her. "This planet," Eliza said, her mind racing, "you said it's a manifestation of cosmic knowledge. Does that mean it responds to the Lumina, to Aurora?" Zarthel's eyes widened in understanding. "Theoretically, yes. But to manipulate the environment on such a scale would require immense energy and focus. Eliza turned to Aurora, meeting the alien's tri-eyed gaze. "Aurora, I know you came to LV-426 to test humanity's potential. Well, this is it. This is our moment to prove ourselves. I have an idea, but I'll need your help, all of your help." As Eliza outlined her plan, the sounds of the approaching void hunters grew louder. It was a desperate gambit, relying on theories and connections that Eliza had only begun to understand. But it was their only chance. They worked quickly, with Eliza directing the efforts based on her scientific knowledge and intuition. Aurora and her cubs positioned themselves in a triangular formation, their bioluminescent patterns synchronizing in a dazzling display. The archivists used their advanced technology to amplify the lumina's energy, while Eliza acted as a conduit, her human creativity and adaptability bridging the gap between alien science and cosmic wisdom. As the first of the void hunters burst into the clearing, a pulse of energy radiated out from their group. The very fabric of reality seemed to shimmer and flex. The jungle around them came alive, responding to their combined will. Trees uprooted themselves to form barriers, while bioluminescent vines snaked out to ensnare the enemy vessels. The void hunters, caught off guard by this manipulation of the environment, found their advanced weapons useless against the planet itself. Every blast they fired was absorbed by the foliage, only to be redirected back at them. Eliza stood at the center of the maelstrom, her mind expanded beyond anything she had ever imagined. Through her connection with Aurora and the cosmic knowledge of the Lumina, she could sense the intricate web of life that made up the planet. More than that, she could influence it. As the battle raged, Eliza realized that this was the true test, not just of her own capabilities, but of humanity's potential to wield cosmic power responsibly. With every decision, every manipulation of the environment, she strove to minimize harm while maximizing protection. The void hunters, faced with a power they couldn't understand or overcome, began to retreat. Their sleek ships, now battered and entangled in the living defenses of the planet, struggled to break free from the atmosphere. As the last of the enemy vessels disappeared into the sky, Eliza felt the enormous energy that had been flowing through her begin to ebb. She stumbled, exhausted, only to be caught by Aurora's sturdy form. Zarthal approached, his usually stoic features animated with something akin to awe. "Dr. Chen, what you have done here, it is beyond anything we could have hoped for. You have not only proven humanity's potential, but have opened up new possibilities for cosmic defense." Eliza, still catching her breath, managed to smile. "It wasn't just me. It was all of us working together. Isn't that the point? No single species can face these challenges alone. We need each other." As if in response, the planet around them seemed to pulse with renewed life. The damage from the battle was already being repaired, new growth springing up to replace what had been destroyed. "What happens now?" Eliza asked, looking from the archivist to Aurora, and back again. "Now," Elias said, "we take the next step. This planet can serve as a base of operations, a place where we can cultivate the alliance between humanity, the Lumina, and other cosmic guardians. And Earth." Eliza couldn't help but think of her home, of the people she had left behind. Zarthal placed a hand on her shoulder. "Earth must be prepared for what is to come. The void hunters were but one threat among many. Humanity needs to be ready to take its place among the cosmic community." Eliza nodded, understanding the weight of the task ahead. She would need to return to Earth, to share what she had learned and experienced. It wouldn't be easy. Skepticism, fear, and resistance were inevitable. But she also knew that the potential for growth, for reaching beyond the stars, was within humanity's grasp. As the group made their way back to the crashed ship, planning their next moves, Eliza felt a profound sense of purpose. She had set out on a simple research mission and found herself at the center of a cosmic drama. But more than that, she had discovered the true potential that lay within not just herself, but all of humanity. Aurora walked beside her. the cubs now grown enough to keep pace on their own. The alien bear's scales shimmered with patterns that Eliza now recognized as contentment and hope. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Human, Lumina, Archivist, and whoever else might join their cosmic alliance. As the dual suns of this alien world began to set, painting the sky in hues of green and gold, Eliza Chen looked to the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth was waiting, unaware of the wonders and dangers that lurked in the cosmos. It was time to bridge the gap, to guide humanity towards its true potential. With renewed determination, Eliza turned to her companions. "Let's get to work," she said. "We have a universe to protect and a future to shape." And so, on a distant world born of cosmic knowledge, a new chapter in the story of humanity and the universe began, one of cooperation, growth, and limitless potential.